What's good, everybody? My name is Mateo Toro. I'm a full-time cinematographer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my 2024 commercial Sony FX6 build. But it's not just for commercials, because in just 1 week, I'll be flying to Spain to shoot a feature film with this exact build. So I'm very excited. This is a camera I've owned close to 3 years now. Quick little side story. I actually broke my original FX6 back in February on a commercial. I put it on an FPV drone. I was desperate to get a particular shot. Needless to say, the camera did end up breaking. So this is my second Sony FX6. And when it came time for me to figure out whether I was gonna get another Sony FX6 or upgrade to a Sony Burano or another type of camera, I just went back to the drawing board and I realized this is still the perfect camera for so many different projects that I do as a cinematographer, and I love having this camera in my kit. These days, I do get to play a little bit with bigger camera builds like the Arri Mini Alexa LF and the Mini. One thing that I do want to mention, if you're watching this video and you feel like these parts are very expensive, just understand it's taken me about 3 years to acquire all these different components to make this build what it is today to function for me. So I'm going to show you as well the pieces I started off with that are more budget friendly that you can just easily supplement to get the exact same job done that these individual pieces are doing for this Sony FX6 build. Everything I purchased with my own money except this one item right here, which is the battery, which I'll go into very quickly. So just to show you the order of what I'm gonna go with is from the battery all the way to the front of the build. So let's get started. Starting off with the battery, just like I mentioned, this is the Smallrig VB212 V-mount battery. Also, the collaboration is with Caleb Pike. Smallrig reached out to me. They sent me this battery to test out, and they wanted me to give them a review within, I believe, 30 days of receiving the battery. And I quite frankly had pushed back on them and said, hey, listen, I am working on commercial projects, on very important projects. I can't have a battery not be fully, thoroughly tested for months without giving someone a full opinion on whether I should recommend this battery or not. But it's been about 4 or 5 months since I've received this battery, and it's been on almost every single project I have been doing the last few months. And this battery is just phenomenal. And there's two main reasons why. One is obviously the size of this battery is 212 watts. I can power every single item off this build with just this one battery, including my AC's nucleus focus. And what's great about having a battery that can power your rig all day long is that you really don't have to worry about swapping batteries. Although I do have the ability with this build to hot swap at any given moment. It just gives me more peace of mind knowing I can just leave the camera on no matter what takes we're doing, however time we're spending relighting or just figuring out a little bit of the framing. I can just leave the camera on, and when I'm ready to record, I'm able to record instantly and don't have to worry about, again, swapping batteries. So again, the wattage is really important, which is why I've come to love this battery so much. The other real advantage of this battery compared to other batteries on the market is the fact that it has 2 DTAP ports, one right here and then another one right here. On top of the 2 DTAP ports, it has 2 USB-C PD ports, power delivery ports, and 1 USB-A port and 2 other DC in ports. So this battery just has so much functionality. I'm able to literally just charge my FX3 or other pieces of kit with the USB-C power delivery. I could charge my iPhone. I have so many ports on this battery that it just makes it such a multifunctional battery where I don't need to worry about DTAP splitters. And then that brings me along to the battery plate. Combined with the Smallrig battery that has 2 DTAP ports, this one as well has 2 DTAP ports. And this is the Kondor Blue V-mount Pro plate. They have an original plate. This is their new one that has 2 DTAP ports. Again, one on this side and then another on this side. And I love it because I'm able to just flip a switch, power the plate off, which will not run any more current or use any wattage to any of the other accessories while we're on standby. And as well, we do have another 2 USB-C ports right here and on top, and we have another 12 volt and 8 volt pins as well. What's really nice about running a V-mount battery on a battery plate like this one that's not attached to your internal battery plate like a Tilta V-mount plate is the fact that I can still keep a BPU battery inside of the camera so I can hot swap at any time. And if just for any reason, if I need to strip down the build completely down to like a gimbal rig or just put it in a very tight spot, I can just take off all these other accessories off the rods and just go off the BPU battery and have a small tiny build as well, which happens all the time on set. We've covered battery, covered power. I am here now on the top handle. This is the Bright Tangerine Master handle, which is right here, the main actual top handle. And then you have the master handle extensions from Bright Tangerine as well. It has such a nice comfortable groove right under the actual master handle. What's really nice is that when I'm just kind of handheld or I'm on an easy rig, instead of having to use my hand and put it on the back of the V-mount battery, which is a little unsafe anyways. So there's so many different reasons why you would need a master handle like this. You just have more stabilization, and for me, having more points of contact, having more points of rigging is always going to be beneficial. Not only do I have the Bright Tangerine handles, I also run their cage system for the Sony FX6. When I first got my Sony FX6, I was running, like everyone else, the tilted cage, but I needed to get a more robust cage system. I needed something that was more compatible with a lot of other accessories and being able to add my camera to so many different configurations. They have the V2 Cheeseplate up here. I have their base plate right here, the left field 3 system, which is compatible with the Arri style dovetail that I have right here, which is really important to be able to shift the weight of your camera on a tripod to balance it out, whether you're going to be panning or tilting a certain way. You just need to get the weight distributed just perfectly. And also I can quickly put this camera on a Steadicam operator because I have the Arri style dovetail, and they could just click it and put it right onto their Steadicam and start balancing. So now we're at the monitor. As you can see, this is a SmallHD Cine 7 monitor, and on the back of it I have the Bolt 6 Teradek module. And I just recently actually picked this up specifically for the feature. I really wanted to eliminate having a monitor and also having a wireless transmitter on my camera from my first AC. I wanted something more seamless. These were on crazy sale on the SmallHD website. It was about $2,000 off. I went for it right away, and just having the Bolt 6 Teradek transmitter built in just allows me to send a signal to my AC and to different receivers with just one SDI cable. So that's my SmallHD Cine 7. I still love having the stock Sony FX6 monitor right under it, so I can see quickly my actual image, my framing, my composition, my color with the LUT with a clean image, so there's no menu settings being transmitted through the SDI. And then on here I'll keep all the camera settings so I can know my exposure, my shutter angle, my white balance, etc, etc. And if I'm rocking out of focus lenses, then I can just still continuously use touch autofocus as well. Right in front of the SmallHD Cine 7, I have this Kondor blue monitor mount I just picked up as well. And you're thinking, well, you have your monitor on the arm, why do you have this here? Sometimes I just need my AC to make the build a little cleaner, and maybe we don't have the space because we're in a certain corner, or it's just a little bit cumbersome to have a monitor arm. So then I'll just transition really quickly from the monitor arm to the monitor mount by Kondor blue. We'll get over here to the infamous iFootage monitor arm. Every first AC that I ever introduced them to, this monitor arm has always been in love with it. It's such a great monitor arm. I've owned this for almost 3 years now, since my first initial FX6 build. And what's great about it is just so versatile. These quick release plates are amazing. They have this safety mechanism where if I unload that, it still doesn't fall off. And then I still have the option to just configure this wherever I want, because it's a monitor arm, which is much more versatile than a monitor mount where you just have a swivel or a little bit of a pan. But I can still pan with the iFootage, which is just it's just a perfect monitor arm, and I try to recommend it to everybody. If you haven't heard of this iFootage crab spider arm, I highly recommend it. So we can see that I still love using the side handle from the Sony FX6. I just think it's comfortable. It has all the function buttons. It has the record button. It has the zoom rocker. There's no reason for me not to have it on. It's just another point of contact as well. We're transitioning to the set of lenses and this adapter mount, and also this little, as you can see behind the adapter mount is a little brace from Bright Tangerine as well, made specifically for the Mattebox PL to E adapter. So this just adds lens support without having to put a lens support on the rails, so I can keep my rails more clear for my AC for whatever they need to put on there. So this just adds support to the lens. It's super secure. It doesn't have any wiggle room when you have that brace on that attaches to the cheese plate of the Bright Tangerine cheese plate. And then here you can see I'm rocking the new DZO Arles primes. They're VistaVision. These lenses are absolutely beautiful. I am so happy with the images they produce. I have purchased a full set myself. I just received them about 2 weeks ago. I just threw them on a first commercial with them. I just can't believe the images that they produce, and I'm so happy to bring them to Spain and have super speed lenses in my kit now. As a cinematographer, I've been really patient on waiting on what set of lenses I would eventually invest in, and then these were the perfect ones when I saw them be announced, and everything that they offer for the price is unbelievable. After the lens, you can see I have these spider arms from Shape, and what I really primarily am used for, obviously for support and to just get a better grip on the camera build when it's big and it's heavy and you just need another piece of point of contact, and just to be more comfortable and not put too much strain on your wrist. If you're putting your hand on a build like this and just this little side handle, you're just in a position where you're going to be putting so much tension and pressure on your wrist, and you don't ever want that to go on for multiple shoots. But these, I always love using them because if I'm going to get a low angle shot and I don't have the time to put a low boy or a low hat type of camera support, then I'll just place the camera on the ground, and with the arms I'll just configure them a certain way where I can get the height that I want, so I'm just not completely parallel to the floor and I'm just getting a shoot shot essentially. And then right here you can see I have the Tilta Mattebox, the MBT12 I believe it is. It's an industry standard, really affordable. It has 3 slots for filters, and it's just, again, just really versatile and affordable. Then I have this little safety mechanism loop chain for the Tilta Mattebox, or for any Mattebox. But speaking of different components again that I was going to mention, now that we've come to the end of the build all the way to the front, I am now upgrading my Mattebox to the bright tangerine Misfit kick. I've had my eyes on this for a really long time. It's just pretty expensive when you're going to get the whole system. So I waited, I got this used, and this is going to be replacing my Tilta Mattebox. But my Tilta Mattebox is now going to be used for my B camera, which is my Sony FX6. So it's always going to be great for me to have 2 Matteboxes when I'm running a 2 camera production. First Mattebox I'll show you right now was this $100 Smallrig fake carbon fiber Mattebox. Again, this is what I started with. About a year in, I eventually upgraded to the Tilta Mattebox, and then eventually now I'm upgraded to the bright tangerine Misfit kick Mattebox. But again, speaking of monitor, like I mentioned, I have the SmallHD Cine 7, which I just bought about a month ago. But for about 2.5 years, I was using the Shinobi 7-inch by Atomos, which again I still have because I have a 2 camera system. Sometimes it's just great to keep things that you've acquired throughout time, so now you can just use them for other pieces of gear or other builds, and you don't have to worry about getting 2 SmallHD Cine 7s. I guess lastly I'll mention the tripod. This is the Sachtler Flowtech 75 legs with the Active 8 fluid head. This is, you know, the best head you can honestly buy for a camera of this size and this build, in this weight range. It is pretty expensive, and again, it did take me a long time to eventually cough up the money to buy and invest in a tripod that's this expensive. But forever I was just using a Manfrotto, you know, cheap $500 tripod. It got the job done, it was stable, and I would just rent better tripods on productions whenever I could if they had the money to rent certain pieces of kit. So don't always just go and buy expensive things that you can't afford at the moment. Just slowly build your kit, because a lot of these pieces anyways will be compatible with so many different cameras, and so many different builds. Like this master handle, it's not just for the FX6. I can put this on any given camera. These shape handles, I can put this on any camera build. This Mattebox on any lens, this battery on any camera. So it's just things that you can slowly work your way up. Last piece of gear I want to honorably mention is from Custom Cables, this little tiny Cheeseplate. I just picked it up this week, found it on Instagram. This is really cool because it allows you to, if you're using your native top handle from the FX6, you can just slide this right on top, and now you have a lot more mounting points. You have a sturdy connection if you are using the Easy Rig. And not only that, since it has the Arri locating pins right here on the back of the Cheeseplate, you can use the master handles from any manufacturer that you might have master handles from. If they have Arri locating pins, you'll be able to just extend the top handle natively with your FX6 top handle and have a more comfortable hold on your FX6 if you're rocking the native top handle, because you need XLR. And this top handle does get a lot of hate. I always keep it in my kit. If I'm just doing a different configuration, I need to run XLR directly into the top handle. You obviously need it for that reason. And again, it has custom buttons that just allow you to just go through and speed your workflow a little bit faster if you have them customized to whatever your needs are. So I always keep this with me. Not always am I rocking this master handle from a right tangerine, but now with this little cool little cheese plate, I can extend the top handle and just be more sturdy connection if I'm doing an easy rig build. So thank you all everyone for watching. This is my FX6 2024 build. Really excited. In 1 week, like I said, I'm heading to Spain to shoot a feature film, and this is the rig that I'll be taking with me. Me and the AC have just kind of configured it over the last few productions we've done, and we already shot a few pages of this feature film in Florida, so we kind of refined it and really got it dialed into where it makes more sense for my style of shooting and just having a really clean build. And again, I've been building up all these pieces up for years, owning the FX6 for almost 3 years now, and I still think this is one of the best cameras you can buy in 2024, leading into 2025, given that the fact that this camera is about to be 4 years old. So if you have any questions about any individual piece, they'll be linked in the description box below. Affiliate links if you want to support the channel. Feel free to ask any questions in the comment section below, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Peace.